Hello, everyone. In recent years, the Earth has been facing unprecedented problems. From the pandemic to the Ukraine war, the Israel war, the trial of the president's son, and the indictment of a former U.S. president. These are all unprecedented events. And now, we are witnessing another shocking event that leaves the world in awe. When following the debate in the U.S. presidential election campaign, never before has a debate reached such an unbelievable level. To the extent that immediately afterward, the American press called for Mr. Biden to stop his run for the White House. Furthermore, the U.S. House of Representatives is even calling for the president to be removed for the safety of the country. Why is that? Let's find out together. Mr. Biden and Mr. Trump, the two most prominent candidates for the next presidency, have just engaged in a debate that showed all of America and the world their views on governing the United States. In America, debates like this are common. Candidates express their thoughts. If I am elected president, what will I do? What are America's problems in their eyes, and how will they solve them? If the public likes how someone works and thinks they are more capable, they will vote for that person. However, in the recent debate, President Biden, at 81 years old, sometimes hesitated, spoke inarticulately, and struggled to argue. Mr. Biden has disappointed many people. Even those who once supported him are beginning to lose confidence in the lucid of the aging president. Some even call for him not to run for president this year. A European diplomat assessed Mr. Biden's debate performance by saying, "It's sad to see him aging. We can see it. What he said was hard to understand, even though my English is quite good." Saudi Arabia commented, "Trump devoured him." An Asian diplomat said, "I was shocked. I couldn't believe my eyes witnessing President Biden's debate." A Polish diplomat did not hesitate to call Mr. Biden's performance a horror show. The perceived weak debate performance of Mr. Biden has become a focal point in news across European newspapers. Many express concern that this weakness could pave the way for Mr. Trump to return to the White House and continue his America First policy, which has worried many European countries. Former President Barack Obama hinted that Mr. Biden had a bad debate night, but still expressed support for his former subordinate, stating, "This election is a choice between someone who has fought for ordinary people all his life and someone who only cares about himself." Mr. Biden is the oldest sitting U.S. president in history. If re-elected in this year's election, he will lead America until he is 86 years old. After the debate, the American media launched a strong attack on the president. The editorial board of the New York Times published an op-ed calling for Mr. Biden to exit the race, suggesting that other Democratic leaders are more capable and can articulate their positions more clearly and compellingly against Mr. Trump. In response to these criticisms, President Biden did not lose heart. On the contrary, he firmly stated that he believes he will surpass Mr. Trump in the race for the White House, despite causing disappointment during the direct debate with his opponent. He said, "Obviously, I am no longer a young man. I no longer move easily, speak fluently, or debate as well as before, but I know how to tell the truth and know how to do this job." Mr. Biden expressed this amidst the cheers of his supporters. He further emphasized, "Where I fall, I will rise." He affirmed that he would not be running if he did not believe with all his heart and soul that he could continue to fulfill the role of president. Before the debate, the American president had hoped to alleviate voters' concerns about his age and highlight Mr. Trump as a habitual liar during the debate. However, at the event in Georgia, he failed to counter his opponent's points, who was said to have made false or misleading statements on various issues, from the economy to immigration. On Mr. Trump's side, Speaker of the House Johnson suggested that the U.S. cabinet should consider invoking the 25th Amendment to remove President Biden after his disappointing debate with Mr. Trump. Mr. Johnson said, "There are many people calling for the use of the 25th Amendment. Activate the 25th Amendment right now because this is an alarming situation. We all see the weaknesses in the White House today. I am not happy to say it, but in my opinion, This is a very dangerous situation. To explain a bit more simply, the 25th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution states that if the Vice President and a majority of the Cabinet agree that the President is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office, the Vice President shall assume those powers. The 25th Amendment was ratified in 1967, but has never been invoked to remove a U.S. President from office. The House of Representatives, controlled by the Democratic Party in 2021, passed a resolution calling for the 25th Amendment to be invoked to remove President Donald Trump after the Capitol riot. However, this resolution was later rejected by the Vice President. Johnson stated he would urge cabinet members to search their consciences, mentioning that the Democratic Party is in panic after President Joe Biden's performance in the direct debate with former President Donald Trump. Mr. Johnson said, "If I were a Democrat, I would be panicking too. Perhaps the Democratic Party knows they are facing a serious problem. But this is not just a political issue or a Democratic issue. It is a national issue. We are facing a serious problem because we have a president who is showing he is no longer fit for the job." The Republican congressman also stated he would submit a resolution requesting the vice president to convene the cabinet and declare that Mr. Biden is no longer capable of performing the duties of the president. However, Mr. Johnson noted that according to the Constitution, this is not a matter for the House of Representatives, but a decision for the cabinet. Of course, Vice President Harris has indicated she will not support such a move. Previously, Ms. Harris expressed dissatisfaction with the criticisms aimed at President Biden after the debate, but acknowledged that it is part of the game and that American voters will make their choice on Election Day in November, not during the debate. Summary of the debate. When entering the studio, the two candidates went straight to their podiums and spoke without shaking hands. The candidates discussed various topics, from immigration, abortion rights, and the economy to personal lives. Regarding the economy, Mr. Trump argued that job growth under Mr. Biden was simply a recovery from the lockdown period due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The two candidates blamed each other for the inflation situation. On immigration, President Biden mentioned his efforts to push for a bipartisan border agreement, which was ultimately blocked in the Senate, and highlighted Mr. Trump's policy of separating immigrant families. Mr. Trump, on the other hand, focused heavily on border issues, accusing his successor's immigration policies of leading to violent crime in the U.S. On abortion rights, Mr. Trump reaffirmed that regulations should be decided by individual states. If elected, he would not ban abortion pills. In contrast, Mr. Biden said that allowing states to decide on abortion issues is terrible. The personal lives of the two candidates were also mentioned. Mr. Biden described Mr. Trump as the only criminal on stage, saying the former president had the morals of a wildcat. In response, Mr. Trump brought up that Mr. Biden's son was convicted by a federal court jury in a prosecution involving illegal gun possession charges. Additionally, Mr. Biden's son also faces accusations of evading $1.4 million in taxes. When asked what he would do to make Israel and Hamas end the war in Gaza, President Biden outlined a plan that included exchanging Palestinian prisoners for Hamas-held hostages and promoting a ceasefire with additional conditions. Meanwhile, Mr. Trump did not clearly state whether he supports an independent Palestinian state. Instead, Mr. Trump said he could handle the Russia-Ukraine conflict quickly if he became president. It is unclear whether Mr. Biden can withstand the pressure to continue his campaign. And even if he does continue, it is uncertain if he can surpass Mr. Trump. Let's wait and see. Thank you for watching the video. Please leave your comments and subscribe now to never miss a video, and let's learn together. See you again.